Hey guys, welcome back. So this video is going to be all about my experience with Colonics. Never in my wildest dreams did I think I'd be on YouTube talking about this, but just to preface this, I think if you are new to my channel, please watch my How I Cured My Eczema video first, then the liver and gallbladder flush one, and then this one, number 3. Otherwise, some of the things I might be saying in this video are not going to make the most amount of sense. Also, I just want to excuse my appearance, even though I know I don't look that bad. I have a bit of a cold right now, but also I am wearing absolutely no face makeup right now. I just want to show you from changing my eating habits, using proper skincare, going for more customized facials this last year, and also I believe Colonics, which I'll be talking about in this video, and the liver cleanses. It has transformed my skin. If you haven't watched the eczema video, I used to have horrific eczema all around my eyes and under here for about 20 years. It's now been over getting close to 2.5 years since I changed my diet and did a few other things, and it has never come back once. So definitely go check out my eczema video. Please, guys, if you have any questions, comment, like, subscribe. Sometimes people message me and request certain videos, but then I feel like nobody really watches them, nobody comments, nobody likes, so it really helps me out. Or if you have any other suggestions, what you'd like to see in the future, just leave it in the comments below. So some of you might be wondering, what is a colonic? And that is a good question because a lot of people don't know what it is. So basically, I'm just going to read it off of the website where I go. I'll name the clinic. Also, any of their contact info will be in the down bar. So if you have any questions, most likely it's in the down bar. That goes for any of my videos. So a colonic, or sometimes it's called colon hydrotherapy, meaning water therapy of the colon. So your colon is a part of your body. It's also known as your large intestine. So a colonic is simply the removal of toxins and waste that have collected in the colon by the introduction of warm water through the rectum. The water cleans the colon by flowing into the colon and flushing back out, carrying waste and toxins with it. Colonics are important as without a clean and healthy colon, you can be susceptible to chronic or occasional constipation, fatigue, digestive issues, and other health concerns. As well, colonics are a highly effective method to cleanse your colon, and colon hydrotherapy, is the only therapy that is proven to eliminate toxic residue that has buried itself into the internal walls of the colon. If you remember learning about digestion in elementary school, so you're going to remember when we start chewing our food, it mixes with the saliva in our mouth, and the saliva has enzymes that help to break down the food, especially the carbohydrates. As we swallow, that wave-like motion, peristalsis, helps to push the food down our esophagus into the stomach. Our stomach has digestive juices that help to break down all of the food. There's enzymes that break down proteins. The hydrochloric acid in our stomach will help to kill any bad bacteria. At this time, our liver should be releasing enough bile to break down the fats we've been eating, and the pancreas is also secreting enzymes to help break down the food. So once the food enters the small intestine, it mixes with those things, and then the digestion process happens further. Then after that, the food is usually sent back to the liver for more processing. And then the food's going to move into the large intestine, or the colon. So this is the main focus of the video. So the main purpose of the large intestine, or the colon, is to remove all that excess water from the food that we've just ate. And then we're going to, whatever nutrients we need from the food, our body is going to keep it, store it, send it off to the appropriate places. Any of the waste, it's going to exit our body as fecal matter. So then after the large intestine or colon, it passes through there, then it's going to exit through the rectum and anus. So we have to remember though, I'm going to insert a picture up here of what the colon looks like. It's not so simple. It's about 5 feet in length. Most people at any given time, if you've probably never had a colonic before, you have maybe 10 to 20 pounds of waste sitting in your body. So just think of how much bacteria could be breeding off of that. The first time I ever went for a colonic, I remember the lady at the place I go told me when they did the autopsy on John Wayne, I think he had something like 60 pounds of undigested food in his colon. And also recently I was watching an autopsy on Netflix, the UK version, and they were doing autopsies on morbidly obese people, and just to see how carrying that excess weight and eating not so healthy our whole lives, what it does to our insides, it's really scary. It's shocking. So it's really, really important to take care of your body. A lot of people, they might look thin on the outside. You might think they're healthy. You guys, you have no idea what their insides might look like. So I'm just going to read to you the benefits of colon hydrotherapy, and this is directly off the little card from the place that I go. So it detoxifies your body, it cleanses your colon to the optimal level, increases your energy, be stronger, feel happier, improves digestive function, it reduces or eliminates gas and bloating, and also constipation. You will have a flatter stomach, which I can attest to. It eliminates all that waste material. You'll have glowing skin and eyes, which is definitely helped that with me, and you can sometimes reduce or eliminate acne. You can also go for a colonoscopy prep, and basically just on the back it says, are you experiencing these conditions: bloating, gas, constipation, low energy, depression, acne, foul breath, headaches, migraines, allergies, difficulty with weight management, basically anything. I mean, so just imagine your whole colon is jam-packed with waste, and it's not super smooth, it's very bumpy and rigid. There's lots of little nooks and crannies where stool can get impacted. So you might think, oh, I don't have to go for a colonic. I have no trouble going to the washroom every day. That's what I thought. You will be shocked if you go, what you see leave your body. It is shocking. So the analogy that I can think of, I was just doing the dishes actually, and I have these straws from Starbucks, these plastic reusable straws, and I had drank a smoothie yesterday. I didn't have time to do the dishes right after, so I just left it in the sink. Well, the smoothie had basically dried on inside the straw, so I tried cleaning it. I don't have one of those little cleaners right now, and yes, some of it came out, but there was still some debris left inside the straw all along the edges. So yes, can I still use the straw? Can water still pass through here? Could things be essentially eliminated out of the straw? Yes, but the walls of the inside of the straw are building up with some bacteria. There's excess food left in there, right? And then because that is kind of creating a rough, sticky surface, it's easier for additional food to get kind of spackled on in the inside. Combine that with probably most people are not eating enough of a plant-based diet, not drinking enough water, not eating enough fiber. Meat takes a long time to digest and pass through our body, but gluten actually stays in our digestive tract the longest. So combining all of these things, you might not think that you've ever really been constipated, but over time, there's going to be some like spackle buildup on the inside of the walls of our body. The only thing that I have found that really removes it is the colonics. So this, if you've ever went for a colonoscopy at the hospital, which I haven't yet, I'm not really at that age that they recommend it. If you're younger, only if you've had certain issues would they probably recommend it, at least in Canada. I think you have to be in your 40s in Canada before they start doing it. So at any pharmacy, you can get this solution of the magnesium citrate oral solution, and it's basically a saline laxative. A lot of the time they'll ask you to drink this prior to a colonoscopy at the hospital to clean out your colon. So they can do a scope and basically check the walls for polyps, any cysts, any cancerous lesions. So I have drank this before, and it doesn't really do that much for me. Like maybe a little bit of stool will come out, but overall, not that much. But when you go for an actual colonic, you will be shocked. You can actually feel some stuff breaking off from inside of you. to my knowledge, there are two different types of ways that you can get a colonic done. I will only be talking about the one because I have never experienced the other. So the system that I use is called Angel of Water, and basically you're in a room by yourself and a machine is doing everything for you and you can see everything leaving your body. The other way is when there's a hydrotherapist in the room with you, and she is actually massaging your stomach, pushing on it to make you basically defecate a little bit easier. And personally, I would be too embarrassed to do that method. I like the Angel of Water method. So if you live in a big city, it might be kind of hard to find if you live like in a more rural area. But if you live in a big city, I would just suggest that you Google Angel of Water, and then you can see what types of clinics offer that. So what to expect the first time that you go to use an Angel of Water machine. So the therapist will come with you into the room. They will obviously show you how to use the equipment. So once they leave though, you're going to get undressed, completely undressed from the waist down. You will cover yourselves with a blanket, which of course they will wash or discard depending what type of place you go to. Nothing that you will be using, that everything is medical hospital grade, so everything will either be sterilized, disinfected, or thrown away or disposable, okay? So basically, after the therapist leaves the room, there's basically this clear little tube that you put a little KY jelly on. It comes with a little package of the jelly. You put a little there and then a little bit around basically your anus. And then you insert this tube just a little bit into the rectum, okay? So you're essentially sitting on a fancy toilet with this little tiny tube. It doesn't go very far. Don't try to push it very far or you might perforate your rectum. They will tell you that. So, okay, picture yourself. You're sitting on a toilet, your feet are kind of out in front of you, and you're just chilling, relaxing. You can be on your phone, you can be reading a magazine, listening to music, whatever you want. So this little tube is in there, and out of the little tube, warm water will flow. So once you start the machine, the water should be flowing for about 45 minutes straight. So what you will feel when the water starts to slowly flow, you kind of feel a small amount of pressure kind of building up in your stomach area. And then all of a sudden, you're supposed to try to hold that water in as long as possible. All of a sudden, you will have this urge like you have to have a bowel movement. Or I know it kind of sounds gross, but almost that feeling like you have diarrhea. So basically, your body's just wanting to push that water back out. So basically, because you're sitting on like a toilet, when you push that water out, all this old fecal matter and the water is going to flush down the toilet. And there's a clear tube coming out in front of you before it goes down into the sewer system. So you can see everything flowing out of you. So, I mean, I have seen parasites leave my body. I have seen there is a sign off to the side that shows like the different types of stool that might be leaving your body. So let's say if you're seeing black matter, that means it's very old and toxic. It's been there a long time. I think if you see white matter, that can mean you have too much dairy in your diet. If you see small little pebbles, that's basically meaning you're dehydrated, all these sorts of things, okay? So it sounds gross, but it's pretty fascinating to see this stuff leave your body. So you're sitting there for about 45 minutes. The therapist usually will come into the room once or twice just to check on you. They sometimes have a little walkie-talkie or a monitor that you can communicate with them if you maybe don't feel comfortable for them to come into the room or not. But if they do come into the room, don't worry, you're going to be covered with the blanket. No one will really see anything. This is what they do day in, day out, so don't be embarrassed. Because of this system, there is no odor or anything like that. It's really not as gross as you might think once you get used to it. So basically for the 45 minutes, you're just sitting there relaxing. And every time you have this feeling like the water is filling up, you're going to feel this need to release. And as you release, usually there's a huge gush of water and fecal matter that comes out. And sometimes it takes a while for the water to go completely through your colon. I believe the first time you ever go, they suggest 3 different sessions, because a lot of times we have so much stuff impacted on the inside of us, 1 session is not enough. So fast forward to the end of the session. Basically, you want to just take out the little tube. You're going to sit there because your body might have a few feelings of like that need that it wants to push excess stuff out. Once that goes away, maybe after just 2 or 3 minutes, you're going to get up. There's baby wipes, there's things to clean yourself with. I would suggest just bring your own baby wipes just in case if there's not enough in the room or something like that. And basically, also the therapist should have shown you how to clean the room prior to how she needs to find it. So you don't have to actually sterilize or necessarily disinfect everything, just certain things so the room is safe enough for her to come back into. They will obviously set it up for the next client. That would not be safe if they let existing clients set it up for the next person that goes into the room, okay? Here I filmed inside the room, so here's a look at the machine. So like I said, it almost looks like a fancy toilet. Where I'm zooming in on now has a plastic cover. That is the tube I was talking about that will be inserted into you. This is where you are looking. There's a little mirror there, and then you're going to be able to see all the stuff leaving through that tube. And that is the sign that I was talking about, which indicates what you're seeing. Here, you will probably hear the gush of water that comes out of you. Don't worry, nothing but water is coming out. The first time I went, I remember just being horrified, thinking, like, how in the hell was all that stuff inside me? Like, where is it coming from for 45 minutes straight, right? And you think you're healthy, you think you go to the washroom every day. Where was that stuff coming from? I remember when you leave there, your stomach will look and feel so much flatter. You have such an empty feeling inside. A lot of the times you won't have a bowel movement for 2 or 3 days after, which is normal. It is really important right after. You need to hydrate yourself with coconut water, the sugar-free kind, and lots of water, certain fruits and vegetables. Eat a very healthy diet free of meat and dairy for the next couple days, just so your body can really heal and repair. You will probably feel exhausted, especially if this is your first colonic. It's almost like you've had diarrhea for 45 minutes, but it really takes a lot out of your system. Also, you have lots of toxic material leaving your body, so your body's kind of detoxing all of a sudden, so you want to take it easy. So how that I noticed actually that I had parasites, usually this stuff is passing through the tube that is coming out of your body a little too quickly to notice something small like a parasite, but there is a part of the machine that you lift up, and then there's like this little hose that you have to rinse out, basically like the inside of the toilet bowl before the therapist comes back in. When I was doing that, there was like a little piece of stool that looked very dark, so that tells me from the chart that that piece of stool had probably been impacted in my body for a very long time. And there were 2 parasites in it. I was horrified. It almost looked like 2 white little worms. I actually started crying. I told the lady, and she's like, you know, that's very rare that you actually got to see that, especially the first time that you came, because usually if that was in your body, and lots of people have stuff like that in your body, you don't even have to travel to, you know, some third world country or drink bad water or anything like that. Just like I said, like if you have undigested food and stool sitting in you for months or years, you know, bacteria, it's going to feed off of that. So I was just horrified. And then, so anyway, she gave me, at her clinic, which is called Clear Living Clinic in Toronto. It's right by Sherbourne subway station. The lady that helped me a lot, her name's Annie. So if you happen to go there, please tell her I sent you. She doesn't know I'm making this video, but it just would help me out if you tell her that. She would appreciate it as well. So it's also a naturopathic clinic, so they can test for parasites, candida, food allergy testing, all that sort of stuff there. So I think the compounding pharmacist makes a parasite cleanse for their office to give patients. So I did that. There's also a bunch of other stuff there, guys. The video will be too long if I get into it. But anyway, instantly I felt a million times better after I left that place. I think I went back a few times in a row. Like, you have to space it out a certain amount of days. Now I might go like 2 times a year, or maybe, you know, if I'm very jet lagged after a long flight and your digestion gets a little bit off and you want to get everything out of you, I might do it. I would not overdo it, but it definitely takes maybe a few more sessions at the beginning to get you feeling to your like ultimate healthiness level, I think. The cost, I think, is around $99 per session, but usually if you buy a package, it is a lot cheaper. You can also share the packages with family, or if there's a coworker or friend that goes to the same clinic, so it will save you a lot of money. There was one time we went to Japan and back in about 5.5 days, and my body was so jet lagged and my digestion was so off. Like, I could not go to the washroom for so long, and even though I was eating healthy, drinking tons of water, so I went there, so much stuff came out of my body. I'm sorry, this is gross. I instantly felt a million times better. Like, that was worth like $1 million to me to go. So if you are somebody or a loved one has any sort of digestive problems, every time you're eating something you're feeling gas or bloating, I would definitely recommend this. So I want to tell you guys something. This is one reason I don't like the dairy industry. So colorectal cancer, in Canada at least, it is the second most common cancer, I believe, besides skin cancer. So last year I saw all these posters up saying that, okay? It was on like subway, the little like things at the top of the subway, or bus stops, the posters in there when you're waiting for the transit to come, advertising all over the city of Toronto. And it said like this stat that colorectal cancer is so common. And then it listed 4 things that can help to keep your body healthy. And it said exercise, I agree with. Drink lots of water, I agree with. Eat fruits and vegetables or high fiber diet to help move that stool through your colon, I agree with that. 4th, drink and consume dairy products. Then I looked down in the bottom of the corner of the poster, sponsored by the Dairy Board of Canada. Yeah, like, what BS? Honestly, dairy, cow's milk, is very inflammatory for a lot of people. That just made me so mad. To be like a little bit of the conspiracy theorist in me. But whenever I've looked up the benefits or if it's healthy to do colonic in the past, all these negative articles would come up. Meanwhile, whenever you read like a naturopathic book, they do recommend them. And anyway, I don't know. I was just thinking like maybe certain studies have been published and who knows, like maybe the Dairy Board is behind it. I don't know. Overall, though, I would highly recommend Colonics. It was interesting because the first time, like I mentioned, that I went, lots of stuff comes out of you. I went again recently, not because I felt sick or my stomach felt upset. I actually felt pretty good, but I just got thinking, you know what, I haven't been for one in a while, and barely anything came out of me. So that tells you, because I haven't ate really animal products in over a couple years now, my insides are pretty clean. So I was pretty pleased with that, and it was a very relaxing experience. Also, this is something that I learned. Again, it's a little bit gross. Did you know that when you go number 2, if you are truly healthy and eating a healthy diet, there should be nothing left on the toilet paper when you wipe. If you didn't know that, and that's not the case with you, this might be something you want to look into. So basically, when you eat primarily plant-based and your insides are very clean, what comes out of you should be very clean. I'll just leave you with that thought. Again, I can't believe I'm making a video about this, putting it on the internet, but I hope that it helps some of you. If you have any questions, please leave them below. Also, follow me on Instagram. It's just Janice.Eadie. I post lots of what I eat in a day, or fitness, lifestyle tips on there. Thank you guys for watching, and please subscribe.